Hello, everybody. Hold on, I gotta turn off my volume on the other computer. 1 second, guys. Technical hiccup. Turn that off. Okay. All right. All right. Sultan is having some tech issues also, is running a little bit late. So, all right, let's go, guys. So welcome to another weekly meetup. For those of you who are new, and also these recordings, by the way, are going to be going up on social media after initial 7-day embargo period. So what do we do with story trading? We beat Wall Street insiders at their own game through crowdsourced collaboration, understanding, which leads to an understanding of the story behind the trade. And of course, access to management here in the VIPO program to get an extra edge. We are building our own app scheduled for July release. We'll tell you more about that as the time approaches. So for tonight, we're going to go over performance of our featured presentations, and Sultan's going to come on with his pick. Rob Mock's going to have a pick. We'll go through our schedule after that. And then for those of you who want to hang around for Trade of the Week, we'll do that, go over the winners and pick some stocks for this week. Quick disclaimer, story trading is not an investment advisor. Investing in securities involves significant risk of loss. The formal presentation will be recorded. The Trade of the Week will not be recorded. We'll be providing the recording for our paid members throughout the week, and then it'll go up on social media after a 7-day embargo period. So with that, we're going to go over performance a little bit different this time. What you can do is hop on over to storytrading.com. We'll do it on the screen share here, but just throughout the week, and just click on that performance tab. And that's where you can keep track of all the featured presentations. So actually, we'll do that right now together. Let's hop on over here, storytrading.com. Click on performance. And right over here, you can see all the performance of our featured presentations. This was the Friday change versus the QQQ. We've attempted here to compare to Cathie Wood's ARC. So we have to figure out how to do that. It's not easy to do the comparison, but this is what we've come up with so far. We have a average of 78% return over 143 days on each of these picks that are still open. And these are the 4 picks that were closed now. So you can look at that. We got return by presenter over here, which is pretty interesting. I think Sultan's coming up. I don't know if he's on yet, but he's up at 93% behind Dan Carlson. Something interesting to look at. This annualized number is not to imply that you're actually going to get this return if you hold the stock for a full year. The way this should be used is an indicator of the presenter's timing, right? If they got a quick move after the presentation, you know, they have perhaps their finger on the pulse of timing better than some of the other presenters. So that's a value we're looking at. We can see, even though Aaron Warwick is down here at 84%, he's done it in much fewer days, is at 320% annualized. So that just tells you a little something about his timing, which really brings him up close to Dan Carlson's performance. That's another way of looking at it. And, you know, we do want to, again, reiterate over here that story trading is not a financial advisor, and past performance is not a guarantee of future results, because this is pretty incredible. And I can't imagine that it's going to continue like this. But, you know, hopefully once things settle down and return to more of a normal market, we're still going to be able to outperform the market. So congratulations to all of the featured presenters. Okay, is Sultan on yet? Let's see. Yep, he is there. So if one of the admins there can get him on video and everything. I'll stop my share. Well, there's a quick chart you can look at. Let's stop this share. Is Sultan, you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Perfect. Did you need to share your screen?
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be good. I got some slides.
Yeah, you should have permission to do that.
Sure.
I just got a quick chart up here. I'll stuff that so you can have it. There you go.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Can you guys see my screen?
I do, and just before you start, I did point out you're moving up in the ranks in the performance there. So really congrats, and hopefully you can keep it up here. That's 3 picks. That's pretty good. 90% average over 3 picks.
Yeah, thank you. Very excited about that. Let's see. I'm play. So new slide. Okay. All right. Yeah. So I didn't really have an opportunity to make a detailed presentations like some of my past ones, but I am very confident and very excited about this company. So I'm happy to present it to you guys. And so it is Kanexa Pharmaceuticals. It's as of Friday, a $1.6 million market cap. 23.97 was the last trade. And again, I'm Sultan with MS Money Moves. We're basically like a research service for healthcare stocks. And just a little disclaimer, I'm not an investment advisor, and gonna be talking about my opinions, and yeah, just it's a risky game, so I never know what might happen. So fundamentals, I will just jump into this. So basically, just to sum it up, what I really like about what they have in terms of assets is they have a specialized portfolio of these mAbs, they're monoclonal antibodies. These are they're biologics technically. So anyways, that doesn't really matter too much, but they're targeting these areas of high unmet need in autoimmune diseases. And so this is a little closer look at what I mean by that. So these are the monoclonal antibodies. They got rilonacept. I butchered the name, so I'm not even really gonna mavrilimumab. Okay, they have these 4 monoclonal antibodies, and so the first and the one that is with the most near-term real excitement and potential is rilonacept. So they already got it through phase 3, and what I really liked was the phase 3 data was really cut and dry, like really cut and clean. There was really no ambiguity. What we saw was like a very pronounced separation from the placebo that was very highly statistically significant. And that was for the primary endpoint as well as all the key secondary endpoints. So that was really cool to see. And so with this indication that they did that phase 3 study, which is for recurrent pericarditis, which is essentially it's an inflammation of like the tissue in the heart, like around the heart. And so, yeah, I mean, it's not like, I think it's not fatal, like you get it and you die, but it's like a serious thing, and right now there's really no treatments that are approved specifically for it. So basically, like when patients get diagnosed with it, they start out with just some steroidal the NSAIDs, and those kind of anti-inflammatories. And then if that stops working, then the patients have to start a steroid regimen. And as you may or may not know, steroids are really kind of like not something you want to take for a chronic condition. They have a lot of side effects, and there's other potential like health consequences from that. But that's like all the patients really have right now. But this rilonacept, it worked really well, better than any of those other regimens. And they have a PDUFA date on March 31st. And So this drug, they actually licensed it from Regeneron, and it's actually been approved since like 2004, and it was approved for it was CAPS. I forget what the acronym is, but it's CAPS. It's another autoimmune related disease. And so bottom line is, so they with this license agreement with Regeneron, they're going to 50-50 profit split. And what's cool is not only for recurrent pericarditis, but they will basically, as soon as, assuming it gets approved, Kiniksa, KNSA, they're going to take over the commercial operation in the US. So, and then that includes for the already improved indications. And so those already improved indications and the recurrent pericarditis, all the revenue, all the sales revenue in the US from those will be split 50-50 with Regeneron. And I looked into it, and so I think like last year, this Rilonacept, it's, I got a different brand name for the other indication, but it's they pulled like 14 million Regeneron in US sales for it. So just an idea of, half that, should pretty, pretty confident. I don't see why that won't be the same thing moving forward. That for I was looking back, previous years, it ranged between 14 and like 17 million a year for that drug. So, and then plus with the recurrent pericarditis, basically management, they're going to price it at $20,000 a month, and patients will be on it for between 6 to 9 months, with some potentially being on it longer. So it's pretty good. It's a pretty good opportunity, and I'm pretty confident about approval, just given how clean the data was, and I think it should be a good catalyst. And then, you have these other, and that's just one of their assets, one of their programs. Then you have these 3 other ones that also have they're also very exciting, as in, giant cell arthritis. You had COVID-19. It's kind of, it's a wild card, I would say. They had some data from, so they had a couple of investigator sponsored studies, meaning like these other entities, health organizations, whatever, did the studies, and they're open label, and they saw some, intriguing data. They saw some mortality benefit, and patients that were on this drug had less time spent on ventilators. So, so this giant cell arthritis, and then as well as this one down here, the PN disease. There's no treatments for them, so that's what I really like. They'll have a first mover advantage, which is it isn't a it is. I think it does make a big difference in these pharmaceutical areas where where there's a high unmet need. They're potentially life-threatening diseases, and there's nothing. And then these assets, they have orphan drug designation. This one has breakthrough therapy designation. This one has orphan drug and breakthrough. So when you have those sorts of recognition, that those sort of like I don't know what you call it. Anyways, when you have those designations, that really helps you justify charging the premium for the drug, and it's it's the more expensive drugs that have these, because it reflects the innovation and the advancement. So it's good. I don't really think they'll have too much issue with payers, reimbursing. It's priced competitively, given what they have. And then this one, KPL 404, it's in more early stage studies, but we'll have some more data from that later in the year. Financials, they're in a really good position. They have over 300 million in cash, so they got a runway into 2023. I just threw a couple other metrics in here that I like to look at. So, the net loss is about 48 million in the third quarter. Total OPEX is about 48 million. So, it was basically the same. And the EPS was, they lost about 66 cents a share. Not too many shares outstanding. I like that too, 68 million. So it's a volatile stock, you get big swings. But I think they're in a good position. Catalyst, they have the PDUFA on March 21st, and you have 2 phase 2 data readouts in the first half of 2021, and that is for the COVID-19 study, and then also for the PN. I'll show you real quick. This one right here. They have phase 2 data readout in the first half. They had some preliminary data, I think the fourth quarter last 2020, and looked good. Look through their corporate presentation, you can see, because this is a skin disease, so you can see clearly that the drug resolved it. So at least in the photos, take it with a grain of salt, of course. Data risk, it's hard to really know how it's gonna evolve or mature, but nice to see. And then the breakthrough, I love seeing the breakthrough, because so if you have breakthrough, that's basically like the FDA acknowledging that what they see is a major advancement or benefit over available treatments. So it's cool to see that on 2 of their assets. And sentiment, very, very bullish. Sorry, I didn't have too much time to go in more depth on this stuff, but technicals, I was just going to pull up my chart and just tell you what I see. So I mean, yeah, I had a good week last week. It retraced on the week before down to like around $20, and then last week it came back up and actually went back over that high that it set here, which looks like it was about 23.7. So broke out above that. Kind of plateaued a little bit up here, but it's looking good. RSI is looking good, MACD, all that stuff. Pull it up. Let's see. Yeah, so you got, I like seeing this chalk and money flow coming up. Or I guess RSA is kind of flat a little bit there. MACD looking good. Anyway, so when I look at this, I'm thinking, I feel like it's going to fill its gap up here to 2028. If not, maybe we get a pullback or dip or whatnot. I'm ready to buy more. I think come PDUFA time next month, this should be, in my opinion, between $30 and $40. It reminds me a lot of the GTHX. I'm not sure if you guys followed that one, but it was, they similarly had a PDUFA. Well, they had PDUFA this month, and they were around $20 like the month before, and they ran up to about $30. Peaked around $37, and then they retraced since the approval. So, anyways, I kind of see that playing out like that. I'm not sure what'll happen afterwards, but that's my price target, is between 20 and 30 in that time frame. And then I wanted to mention a few other points. I didn't really make any slides on it, but I could just tell you. So for one, the CEO of the last company he had, it was and I remember the ticker. It was GEVVA, I believe. So he built it up into a commercial stage company, and then I think about 6 months into their commercial launch, sold it to Alexion for like $9 billion or 8 or 9 billion. And then the other thing I like about, so not this, I mean, maybe I'm not guaranteeing like a buyout or anything, but I like to look at the CEO's track record and how they've done. He's been around the block. He's been doing this a while. And then Baker Bros, Felix Baker. He's someone I follow a lot. He's very well respected in the healthcare investment industry, and he's the lead director. And Baker's brothers, they own about like half of the company. So when I see a guy like Felix Baker, that caliber, well, he's got his name on it. He doesn't. I mean, he's got money, a lot of money in it, and he's got his name on it. So these guys, I know, they really care about their, I don't know. It's gonna really reflect on him. I feel like how this company does. So when him going so big on it just makes me like feel really confident that he really likes what he sees. Even in these programs and the potential. So it just gives me like an added layer of confidence. There's always a risk of failure in these companies, but at the stage, with the data we've seen and the potential for having some revenue start coming in here, they're ready to launch as soon as they get approved. It'll be a quick launch, but yeah, that's really all I think I got for you guys.
Great, thank you so much, Sultan, for that presentation. I'm not sure if people saw the technical chart. I'm throwing it up on my screen now so people can take a look. I really do appreciate you bringing up those 4 story trading pillars: sentiment, technicals, fundamentals, and catalysts. And I couldn't agree more about the sentiment and technicals. The technicals look great here. Obviously, you got the sentiment is positive for all stocks now, but particularly biotechs. The catalyst of the March 31st date, I saw that there. Fundamentals, I just had a question on. This is a much larger company that I typically invest in, $1.6 billion. So how does that come into your calculation here? And is this a stock at a 1.6 billion value that you're willing to leave some on the table past the PDUFA date in case that's negative, or are you just going to be finding spots to sell this at before March 31st on the anticipation?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I'll definitely lock in a lot on around that March 21st date.
I'm sorry, was it March 21st or March 31st?
Yeah, I think it was the 21st. It's not the 31st. I know it's not that.
Oh, okay.
It's not the end of the. Yeah, it's like the 20th. 21st. Yeah, no, I'm gonna lock in profits. I just how I usually do it. Because regardless of where I think the company is gonna, I think it'll be a mid cap. It'll be a, I don't know exactly, but I think it'll be a mid cap. So over time, I'm not really too concerned. But yeah, you never know. Like these companies, they can, like Arcus, I presented them to you guys, and I think I presented them to you at like $22 or something, and then they went down to like 17, and before that they had like been up to like the 30s, and then they so they can make these very big swings, and for me, I don't like to necessarily like have a bunch of capital tied up in for those big swings, but over time, it's one of those companies just like Arcus, I think is going to do really well.
So are you differentiating here with because I know BCRX is one of your picks, and from the conversations I've heard, it sounds like that's a stock you're willing to hold on to, at least a core position through the ups and downs and through the catalyst. So do you see this differently than a BioCris in that sense, or would you be willing to hold any of the core position?
I think it's more of a combination of where I got into BioCris, and I only have so much capital, so I kind of have to, if I could have as much, to invest in Kiniksa, maybe it'd be a different story. But it's just more of like, how I want to allocate.
Okay, so this is definitely, if I'm hearing you correctly, more of a story trade idea, and it's a play into the anticipation of the PDUFA date.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, great. We do have a second presentation from Rob Mock today, so we're only going to have, let's say, maximum 2 questions. If anyone has a question, raise your hand or throw it in the chat there. Stephen, Rob, any questions there coming in?
No questions. I can throw in a question. Their main drug was pericarditis, you said, and did that one have orphan drug designation and like unmet need designation?
Yeah. So it's the drug is rilonacept, and the disease is recurrent pericarditis, and they do have orphan status and breakthrough, which is cool.
So does that improve the chances of approval because there's no other drug?
I wouldn't say that increases the chance of approval. What it is you get longer like exclusivity on before generic can come in, and then also it helps with like you can helps justify higher pricing, like a premium. You know what I mean?
Oh, so you can charge more for the product once it's approved. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
There's one question in the chat.
I like the question. I see. Rob is putting me on the spot, Sultan. He says, tomorrow, if you could buy just one stock, Kiniksa or BCRX, BioCris, which would it be tomorrow?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, can I just buy both?
That's good diversification.
Well, I'd buy some Kiniksa because I got a lot of BioCris. So
It's a personal decision there. That's a good point. All right, let's make this the last one.
I was just gonna say, just full disclosure, I do plan on buying some BCRX call options tomorrow morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think we're gonna be I think we're gonna keep moving up into earnings, and I think they're gonna do the factor D data pretty soon. I don't know, man. I'm just feeling like it's got more room to run. So I'm gonna get some $12 calls tomorrow.
Very cool. Actually, Ashley had a question about BCRX.
Yeah, hit it if you want.
That was in the chat. He says, why don't we just unmute him? Go for it, Ashley.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Great, Sultan. Yeah, I really like BCRX. Is the factor D data coming out pretty soon, and where do you kind of see that heading?
Yeah, so management has said, the first quarter, it was originally going to be the fourth quarter 2020, and it delayed for some COVID related reasons. But anyways, just based on I don't know if you saw, but on clinicaltrials.gov, it looks like they updated it. So it looks like the study is completed, and they even actually expanded it, added some more patients. And then, it's the first quarter, about halfway, getting towards halfway through it. I mean, my guess would be it's gonna be sooner than later, maybe even next week. They might time it to do it around earnings, which is next week on the 25th. I think it's gonna be pretty big, because in this is gonna be the complete data readout for that study, and in this one they're gonna have included the inadequate responders to the C5 inhibitors, which is like the standard of care right now. And so, I mean, if they show, because the idea is these patients, they're going to migrate them off of the C5s, and then hopefully they'll just stay on the monotherapy twice daily, factor D inhibitor. And, and Sheridan has said, he's made it pretty clear that he's really confident that this is going to be the case. And so now they just got to put the proof, show that they've done it. I think the company, the stock will react very favorably.
All right, great. Sultan, thank you so much for that presentation. We've opened up a how do you say the name of this company again? Let's see, KNSA.
Kiniksa.
Kiniksa. So we opened up a Kiniksa research group on WhatsApp where you guys can collaborate together on that. So thank you, Sultan. Good luck on that investing idea. Storytrading.com and tap on events. All our feature events are there. We've put in our past events since January 1st with video links to video recordings where available. We're going to go ahead at some point and put every event in there historically, so at least you can see the schedule of events in the past. So we're not going to have the recordings of the old events before the start of the year, but I think that'll be interesting information to have in our archive. So now what you'll see if you go to storytrading.com and click on events is this Wednesday, February 24th, we have the CEO and CFO of KMPH joining us Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. I think thank you to John Sassone, I believe it is, from Raymond James for setting that up for us. Next week, we got Dan Carlson back from Tailwinds Research with his next stock pick. That's always going to be exciting. I think he's the top stock picker for us right now. And then another exciting event next Wednesday, Jonah Lupton of Lupton Capital, and he was also recently chosen by Shamith to run a portfolio for social capital. And then we got Richard Chu, March 9th. They all star lineup the next several events, so you don't want to miss that. Happy hours are usually Wednesday, 4:30 p.m. So since we have these special events, as time permits, we'll do a short happy hour after those presentations the next couple weeks by KMPH and General Upton. So that's the schedule. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. If you want to hang out for Trade of the Week, we're going to get that started right now.